Hey guys, it's QuickyBaby and welcome back to World of Tanks, and this time I'm playing in the Tier 8 Soviet Premium Medium Tank, the T-54 Mod 1, and I know you might be thinking, but you just featured this tank last week, why are you doing it again? And that's because the focus of the video is not going to be on this vehicle. It is going to be a keep calm and carry QuickyBaby moment. Now, a lot of you might only watch my YouTube and not watch my content across other platforms, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. That's absolutely fine. I try to make my YouTube content different from the content that I would put up on a live stream, for example. But if you only watch my YouTube videos, you might get this funny idea that I don't have horrific, awful games. And while I do certainly have a lot more good games than I do have terrible games, I do have my absolute stinkers as well. And this is going to be one of them. Now, I was on a credit grind mission. Did any of you take advantage of that special that was just on the European server this weekend? Equipment sale, consumable sale. I needed all of the credits I could get my hands on as well to be able to buy Swedish tanks in the future. So I was playing my Tier 8 premium tanks very aggressively because that is the best way to make credits. And I get caught out by a Tier 10 auto-loading Czechoslovakian medium tank. The TVP takes off 1,000 of my hit points, and when you've only got 1,300 to begin with, it certainly isn't going to go very well. Fair enough, we've done 832 damage and we've picked up 466 spotting, but this certainly wasn't exactly a great replay, was it? But never fear, Balron is here, and he's going to have to do his best to keep calm and carry me playing in the Tier 10 French auto-loading medium tank, the Bat Chatillon. And talking about Bat Chats, he is going to be engaging his opposite number right at the beginning of this game. He's made his way into quite an aggressive location to try and spot out. He hits two, he fires his third one blind. We're not sure if that one hits the Bat Chat because he disappears from view. We'll have to keep an eye out on the Bat Chat's health points to see if he did hit that third shell. He misses one on the LTTB. Will he hit his final shot of the magazine? Oh yeah, great stuff there. 3 out of 5 is always good for a magazine in the Bat Chat, but when you only have 30 rounds of ammunition, 3 out of 5 certainly isn't going to go a huge way towards getting an insane damage total. But there the Bat Chat appears. He's on 575 hit points, suggesting that Balron did manage to hit that third shot, making it a 4 out of 5 magazine, which is great for the auto-loading French Tier 10 medium tank. So Balron notices now as I die in the northwest map, and that's pretty weird. That's very weird to see. Wow, I don't usually see that from another player's perspective. Oh gosh, feels bad, man. But Balron notices that the pink fluffy unicorn on his team has already managed to scrub out immediately and wants to try and make his way back towards the base to try and spot for his artillery and try and spot for some rather heavy tank destroyers who are sitting there. He's got a Jagdpanzer 100, he's got a T-28 prototype, and a Ferdinand all going to be gunning for him. And he's going to be making use of these bushes. But how aggressive will that glut of tanks towards the northwest of this map be? And yeah, I would think that they're going to be pressing over, because I absolutely adore to go down the west of this map, especially if you can take the northwest as aggressively as the enemy team have. I feel that's the most important location on this map. But then again, I should have probably taken a look at the beginning of this game. I was very impatient, and I should have seen that they did have the light tanks, the medium tanks, the high-tier auto-loaders that are probably going to win the northern flank. And our team's advantage was in those two high-tier heavies, as well as obviously in the Jagdpanzer 100. And so it was a foolish move by me. I didn't really spend that first 30 seconds reading the enemy team list and making a plan. But Balron's going to be back. Wow, what a spot on the Mutz there. 2 artillery shells, giving him 1,054 spotting damage. You just got to absolutely love that new addition to the game. Now the T-44 pressing up over. Balron shoots him in the tracks to try and hold him still, but the T-44 was so slow to use his repair kit there that he actually used it immediately after Balron tracked him. I believe, well, the other tracks, or maybe Balron had thought that surely he must have used his repair kit already, or maybe he's just not even using one, and tries to lock him in place. But the artillery slams a shell over the top of the ridge, and Balron gets the smallest amount of spotting damage, but the result is the same. The T-44 is out of this game. So 1,602 damage dealt so far for the Bat Chat. How is he going to be able to handle the rest of these medium tanks marauding? Great result to get the T-44 out. Looks like the LTTB has been taken care of as well. And there's a T-49 trying to kill the Bat Chat 15558, who is in one of the most unusual locations. Oh gosh, do you know what? I think that Bat Chat 15558 just decided that he wanted to suicide, right? I guess he had completely lost faith in his team. Maybe it's a case that his T92 friend died, but he's still going to have to wait for the RU-251 Speerpanzer. That's such a bizarre play by the Bat Chat 15558, ending up on the opposite side of this ridge. I guess he just wanted to get out. So not only does Balron have to carry me, he also has to carry, I guess, players who are very tilt, like that tier 10 auto-loading French self-propelled gun on his team as well. Now, do you know what's really weird about that sacrifice there by those two players? Is that the RU-251 Speerpanzer is in a platoon with them as well, so they're just going to have to sit and watch. What do you think this light tank was thinking when his top-tier self-propelled gun platoon mates were deciding to go off and suicide? Well, I guess that he wants to suicide as well, as he just sits up and takes it from the auto-loading Czechoslovakian medium tank, and things are starting to look really bleak for our team. We've only managed to get 3 kills. Balron hasn't secured a kill himself, but he did manage to provide the view range for the T92 HMC and for the FV207 to be able to dispense a couple of tanks from the enemy team. Now there's a WTF Panzer IV advancing in towards the base. He's going to try and shoot towards the bushes, but he does get spotted. I believe he got spotted when he was making his way from this bush to the other bush, and he's gonna run into the Jagdpanzer 100. Oh gosh, don't want to ram that thing too hard. Your French tank certainly doesn't have that much armor at the front of the vehicle, and as it is very light, ramming into your allies like that is going to be a quick way to lose the small amount of hit points that the Bat Chat does have. I believe that this had the lowest hit points of any of the tier 10 tanks until the STRV 103 OB came in. But look at this, Balron is going to go over the ridge, and he goes after this TVP, and he puts all 3 rounds into him, taking him out. And I think the artillery shell whizzes past his tank there and lands into the TVP, and that is very fortunate indeed. That FV207 fired, I believe, after the TVP died, a very greedy shot from the self-propelled gun on his team, and he's very lucky that he hit a dead tank, which absorbs all of the high explosive damage from an artillery shell. A very aggressive play by Balron there, but do you know what? When you're in a situation when you've got 2 tanks and a self-propelled gun versus 10 vehicles on the enemy team, I think you do have to be rather aggressive. So Balron's reloading, he gets the magazine loaded, finishes off the Bat Chatillon, and he doesn't get spotted. Will he be able to take out the E75 as well? No, he pulls back just behind the ridgeline, unable to get a shot into the turret of that tier 9 German heavy tank. But at least now it's 2 versus 9, I guess, on the enemy team, with the self-propelled gun being shut down. So how is Balron going to handle this situation with Ghost Rider playing in the Jagdpanzer E100 on his team? So he's going to go and make his way over here. He wants to try and spot, I guess he wants to try and catch a glimpse on the Bat Chat 15558 on the enemy team. They are in a platoon, so you've got to watch out for those auto-loading self-propelled guns. He finishes off the Mutz. Great result, shutting down the tier 8 German premium medium tank, and now securing the flanking fire that the Jagdpanzer E100 would have had to have dealt with. Now knowing that the Mutz isn't going to go and work this ridge line up here, that must make Balron feel all the more comfortable to go and engage these heavy tanks that are traversing up the slope towards his base. He does get spotted on his way down there, and a Super Pershing on the enemy team who really shouldn't be in this matchup, but he has signed up with an IS-3 on his team, I guess sacrificing the preferential matchmaking that vehicle has to be able to get into this game. And it looks like Balron does 1067 damage there, but he actually tracked the Super Pershing there, and the Jagdpanzer E100 rolls slightly high, above 1050, the average damage for that tier 10 German tank destroyer, shutting down the Super Pershing with a good round in there. And a good thing too as well, because that Super Pershing was starting to pick apart Balron's hit points. He puts his remaining 2 shells into the Tiger, 804 damage, and BAM! Ghost Rider sends out an amazing shockwave around the map, shutting down the Tiger too. And now they have managed to turn it into a 2 versus 6 from, I believe, what was a 2 versus 9. Great result. And I'm amazed that Jagdpanzer 100 still has so many of his hit points left. He's obviously using that building to avoid most of the artillery shells, but we see another one goes into his back. Surely because the building is there, that means that the Bat Chat must be all the way up towards the north where he was last spotted. We can hear the shells continuously going in. Remember that tier 10 French self-propelled gun. For some reason, I nearly said British there. It does have that 455mm shells that it has dispensed. But now Balron is going to go and take a glimpse. Where is he? There he is, the Bat Chat right in front of him. Oh, easy, easy, easy days for the Bat Chat. Shutting down the self-propelled gun on the enemy team, and that should allow Ghost Rider the room to breathe to be able to hold off the heavies. But it's not just the heavies now. A Jagdpanzer E100 on the enemy team has finally joined the fray, making his way down the slope from the town, and he picked up 2 kills in the town. So Balron doesn't decide to reload here, but I guess he decides that not his platoon mate, but Ghost Rider certainly needs some help. Now, one thing that's interesting about this shot is you might be thinking, well, why isn't Balron shooting the side of the Jagdpanzer E100? But if we zoom in further, we can see that there's a house in the way, and so actually the side of the tank there is his only opportunity to be able to do so. He's quite lucky, I feel, to be able to penetrate 2 out of 3 shells there, but Ghost Rider shuts down another tank. Now they have got 4 kills each. What a round this is for these 2 tier 10 vehicles. Carrying their socks off, including me, carrying me super hard in this game. So now Balron, but the job isn't done yet. 1 artillery shell going stray might be able to take out, will definitely take out Balron's tank if he manages to penetrate the shell from the Bat Chat 155-58 or the M40-43. He's going to try and flank around. And it looks like the IS-3 has finally decided that it's not right to keep grinding up against a Jagdpanzer E100, and so he's pulling back, maybe trying to flank. But you know what? Trading 1 tier 10 tank with a high alpha damage for a tier 10 tank with an auto-loading 105mm gun certainly isn't a good trade, and Balron fortunately only has to fire 3 rounds into the IS-3 on the enemy team, and that's because he's only got 4 rounds left. He is up to nearly 7,000 damage, well beyond the Call of Duty for what you should have to do in any tier 10 tank, let alone the Bat Chatillon. And Ghost Rider invites Balron to a platoon, I believe. And now they have become unexpected friends in this battle. He finishes off the E75, starts to reload, and there's the artillery shell that I was dreading. The Bat Chat 155-58 doing 500 damage. A little bit fortunate that that round didn't hit the turret there and managed to penetrate. But then again, it is quite a low caliber gun with low amounts of penetration. The Bat Chat 155-58 blind firing some more shells, expecting that the Bat Chat would be hiding under the bridge, but Balron got certainly far enough back around the corner to avoid those high explosive blasts. So now, 1 platoon of unexpected friends against a formed platoon on the enemy team. I believe the M40-43 was in a platoon with the other 2 self-propelled guns from the start of this battle, but only 3 shells remaining. Now, the M40-43 on the enemy team has got 400 hit points, but the Bat Chat 155-58, I believe, has 480. And so that means that Balron is going to have to put 2 into the tier 10 vehicle, and he's going to have to high roll a shell into the tier 8 self-propelled gun, unless he also wants to ram him, so it's quite likely he's going to need the help of Ghost Rider to be able to handle this situation. Now, this is the ultimate kind of tank for taking out artillery, at least in my opinion. I'm not sure, maybe the TVP would be a little bit better. I guess if you're going against 2 artillery, then the TVP would probably be better. But if you're engaging low-tier artillery, then the Bat Chat does have this fantastic magazine. If you don't roll low, at least, to be able to take out the M40-43 at least with a single shell and still have remaining rounds for other vehicles. Where is he going to be? He's only got 2 minutes and 36 seconds left on this game. He's got to be careful, but the Bat Chat 155-58 is right in front of him. Luckily, he misses a shell, and even though he is an auto-loading self-propelled gun, I believe there are 5 or 6 seconds delay between each of those shells, and Snoopy Dog on the enemy team falls victim. Now Balron, having picked up his 7th kill, 7,669 damage that we have seen, has 1 shell remaining, and he's got to make his way towards the cap circle, but the M40-43 tries to ambush him. He fails, and Balron is going to wait for it and put in the final shot of the game. He gets a lucky, well, not super lucky, but he rolled 50-50 there really to be able to take out that tank with a single shot, considering he had 400 hit points and the 105mm on the Bat Chat has 390 average damage. What a fantastic carry by these 2 players here. Balron and Ghost Rider carrying their socks off, and especially keeping calm and carrying QuickyBaby here. Holy mother of medals, Balron, what have you achieved here? He gets a Faden's medal for destroying the last remaining vehicle with the last remaining shell in his tank, a Radley Walters medal for the 8 kills he picked up this game, a Pascucci's medal for killing 3 of the enemy artillery, a high caliber for the 8,461 damage that he dealt, one of the highest damage totals I have ever seen in the Tier 10 French autoloading medium tank, because it only carries 30 rounds of ammunition and it's not the most accurate and you quite often have to take chancy shots in the vehicle. He also gets a tank sniper for dealing the highest amount of damage at 300 meters plus, a crucial contribution medal for the 12 kills that he picked up with his unexpected friend Ghost Rider in his Jagdpanzerei 100, a brothers in arms for 3 kills apiece and also surviving the battle, and an irrelevant Top Gun. And that's, you might always wonder, why does QuickyBaby never talk about the Top Gun? Because of course if you get a Radley Walters or a Pools medal, you are going to get a Top Gun, unless you're playing low tier vehicles where you can't achieve the epic rewards, at least with regards to Pools and Radleys. And also a Confederate medal. That is absolutely crazy considering that he killed 8 tanks on the enemy team, because that means that he had to damage 6 other vehicles that were killed by other players on his team, yet he dealt damage to 14 out of 15 of the enemy team. What an absolute insane carry. And if that's not enough, Balron also makes a cool 61,000 credits profit. What a result. And one thing that was very surprising to me is that even though I died first, I still finished 3rd on experience in this game. And aggressive play in your tier 8 premiums is the best way to make a lot of profit in the shortest period of time. This was a session from Sunday. Here we can see that T54 first prototype game that we won. And if we add all of this up, we made 1,000,000 credits profit in an hour and 40 minutes, where we were still able to win 11 and lose 4. But then again, a lot of that was down to Balron carrying his socks off. Thank you so much for uploading this replay for me to see how you managed to achieve this. It was an incredible result, and congratulations to you on achieving all of the medals. And so hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, please consider giving it a like. It really helps the channel out. And let me know in the comments down below, what is your favorite tier 8 premium tank and why? And as always, thank you so much for watching. You've been epic, and hopefully I'll see you soon.